How do I introduce you? Founder, entrepreneur, leader.
You go for it. You shower wherever you want to shower on me.
Shower me with all the praise.
Shower me.
Mr. Matthew Wemyss. First of all, say a big thank you. A thank you for creating. I want to use the word creating this amazing event for the second year now, AIDucation25. Obviously, last year, remember, it was a great success and something that was needed in the space that we're in. This year, slightly different theme. Just walk us through, obviously, what we see there. We're talking about insights to impact. How did that come about?
So we did a survey after the last event, and what really resonated with people was the hands-on sessions with the workshops in the afternoon. And we just had 2 of those. And so immediately when planning this year's event, I added more workshops in there, and also to broaden those out. And part of the planning process was trying to balance out each workshop session. So everyone can kind of maximize and get a good spread of everything from like using it in design technology, using chatbots, using it to help you plan. And really, I reached out, and loads of people have been really generous with their time to fly in and do the workshops, to make it people who either work in the educational sector daily with schools or are actually teachers themselves and can go, okay, we have these AI tools. This is how you can actually use it like on Monday morning and actually have an impact straight away. And that's been the real big focus. I wanted it to be really practical, really insightful, and driven by educators who could actually you could just do these things Monday morning and have an impact in your school.
And kind of drawing to a close, it's 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock.
It's 4 p.m. And we said it's, I'd say, 48 hours and all the strains and stresses that come before that. But we're near enough at the close. What have been some of your sort of the key takeaways that you've had from today's event?
Well, starting off with Dan, and I think that's a big realization to people that AI is here and it's only going to be developing faster and faster. And for some people that are still quite skeptical to take the first step, trying to make that space to be open to the fact that this technology isn't going to go anywhere and we have to start adapting and learning how to use it. And again, the focus of this event is try to get educators in and give them a safe space to experience different ways of using it. And then moving on to Ben and saying, like, you can't really implement something new in your school if you haven't got the culture correct. If you aren't willing to do certain things to make that work, like iterate, ideate, a bit of self-reflection to begin with, like where's our school at and where will this fit into our journey? And then again, the practical hands-on sessions to give people examples of how they can use it right now. And we're just about to go into the last session with Philippa, which is about, okay, if you're going to take anything that you've learned today, any of the tools or techniques that you can apply, how can you work with your IT team? How can you work with your SLT? How could you work with just what you have in your school to make that work successfully? And more importantly, safely for the students and your staff, because you've got to make sure that data's handled correctly. There's certain things the staff have to do if they want to roll AI out. And so certain things your messaging your staff need to hear to make sure it's done safely and securely. But yeah, that's the main theme. It's kind of been planned to be a journey throughout the day, starting off with like the big ideas, then the culture, loads of examples of how you can use it, and then culminating with, okay, you're going to go away now. Here's how you can do it safely.
Yeah. And it's been a really, really good journey in terms of just the impact it can have. The way that Dan put it when I spoke with him, in terms of most conferences, like you're at the peak of the mountain, and when you leave, you're back in the valleys.
Yeah.
And it's then, how you bring that information in and actually do something with it. And that journey, you can tell it's just been well thought about from a teacher who's obviously utilizing it, and we've got it here who's writing about it. You can live and breathe it, so you understand the needs and necessities that teachers have, which is, again, the next part is to say just a big thank you. I think for most of us that are here and the people you brought in and the opportunities provided, like to educators from other educators to actually develop in this, like there is a lot of strains and stresses that go with it. So we say thank you for bringing us over here, and we say thank you for creating this. And now we're going to grill you.
Okay, let's go. Can I jump in first? And I basically, everyone's come up to me to said something like positive to me today. I've thanked them as well. So like they've given up their Saturday to come in and spend 8 hours with me and the event that I've curated and put together. So like it's been everyone that said thank you to me, I've also said thank you back to them, because it's thank you for them to willing to start this journey for their school as well. It's really appreciated that people have support this event, support me and the things that I'm trying to do. And and more importantly, and it's quite snowing here as well. So like giving up on a snowy Saturday to come into a school The food was delicious though today as well, so it was worth it for the food as well.
When someone has their own name, by the way, on an apple pie, it's going to be good, and it did not disappoint. That was some amazing apple pie. Food generally was good, but that was special. All right, we're going to kick off with this. We have, look at this gentleman on the back.
There he is.
2 fantastic books, kindly signed by Matthew as well, to be able to give away to our listeners and viewers in the UAE. But I want to unpack some things about this, because again, you've spoken a little bit, but you've allowed others and their expertise to kind of shine brightly today. But you have your own insight and knowledge about this. We want to unpack some of that as well. And we've got a range of questions and scenarios.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm trying to be a little bit different with it. So let's go with this one. The risks of AI best practices. Now, you've discussed the dangers of blindly implementing AI best practices in education. How do you address the concern that standardized AI solutions might overlook the unique cultural and contextual needs of diverse educational environments?
So I think there's 2 ways into AI. One is kind of almost using it blank. You've got a blank canvas, you've got a ChatGPT chat open. And for some people that can be quite daunting. They don't really know where to begin. And there is techniques. If you know how to use things like WhatsApp or any messaging tool, you know how to talk to people. And I spoke at the beginning that teachers themselves are actually very good at questioning, very good at articulating, very good at re-explaining things and asking probing questions. So we have got a lot of skills we can call upon to use to those blank canvases. But I also see for some schools in some settings that they might need something to structure them to get them going. And there is the kind of balancing act of there's a blank canvas where I can do anything, or there's a more constrained platform where I'm going to go through a series of options that are provided for me, and I'm almost shoehorned into that shape. But it depends on the teacher and it depends on the school. Like if you haven't got someone who has the knowledge and can drive that forward internally, using an AI platform to support the planning process a little bit more structured, I feel is still going to benefit the students. And it's going to be an easier way in to improve things. Like if you don't know, lots of them have a range of tools like group work, retrieval practice, things like that. It might just speed up that process. But I do think there is the scope to use them as step one if needed, and then go to the open platform and train your staff thoroughly on how to like use them and get the best out of that. And I think most of the workshops today have been about using like just straight ChatGPT or straight Gemini, but we have had a platform in as well to give teachers that might need a little bit of a kick or a little bit of an introductory step. We've got a platform in as well. So again, for me, I understand the space for both. My preference is straight ChatGPT, straight Gemini, but I understand that it might feel daunting for everybody. So it's better to be, in my mind, it's better to be using it and having a benefit for the students than not using it.
Yeah, and like you said there, it very much depends on the context you find yourself in terms of how comfortable and confident you feel with it and the competency. And even if your school has open access to it, I mean, we all know about the conversation about equity, not just for students, but also for teachers in the world around us. Now, the plan with these that we have there is a trilogy. And obviously, I was on the flight over yesterday. I was watching The Matrix, the fourth Matrix, as it were. I can't think what I'd call a book series that has 4 in it. I don't know, a quadrilogy. Is it a
quadrilogy? They did it with Aliens movies, didn't they? They kept adding to that. So I think it was a quadrilogy. Maybe.
We're going to make up a word.
Quadrilogy.
We're going to use that word. And now I say this because somehow in amongst the time, if I was to lay these out, I'd have a nice one, a student's handbook. I've got this one here as the educator's handbook. And what would have been there was
parent handbook.
The parent
handbook's in after this event's organised. I'm starting to work on it.
We know that's coming. And building on that, one of the books I've kind of used for inspiration, we've had these conversations today, is a book called Anti-Fragile. And I'm interested from your perspective, having just talked about these things, in ways that the integration of AI can make educational systems not just resilient, but anti-fragile, hence improving under stress and uncertainty. And really kind of that uncertainty could be the EU Act in terms of what are the systems I should be using, what are the wrappers or what are the platforms, like in what ways can we be utilizing AI then to make sure that we've got resilient and anti-fragile systems within our schools?
So I think you need to find, and it's going back to what some of the stuff Ben was saying, I think you need to reflect on your school values and school mission and find out where it fits into those. and find out what tools align with your vision and values. Is it just teacher usage? Is it just student usage? And how are you going to implement even some AI systems that might analyze your school data and give you insights on how students are doing? If you're going to use it to track students' progress, how is that going to look like in your school? And what's the line of human oversight? But I think there's so many different ways you can apply it. But I think it's almost like a personal journey for each school, where you've got to look at what is out there and see how it will fit into where your school is right now, and potentially map out where you want your school to be, and how can AI get you there, or potentially where might AI be a barrier for you to get where you want to get. So what things can you, I don't want to say streamline, but like where can you integrate it into the workflow, and where don't you want it to be? And I think I started with like a Venn diagram of saying I think people are still wrestling with, and people that use it quite a lot, like you and me, sometimes wrestle with, okay, I overused it a little bit there, and I've got to pull back in this section. But in terms of like the fragility, anti-fragility, I think it's an idea machine itself. So if you're struggling with something, like you want to try to do something new, and I try to do this when I do insets for schools, I try to find out what's in their SDP. So if you want your whole staff to try something new, and it's usually something you want them to develop because they've never done it before, you can use ChatGPT to ideate ideas. Okay, I'm teaching this at this time, or I want to plan this scheme of work, and this time I want it to be using this new initiative for the school. I can plug that in and I can get ideas, because somewhere in the world that might have happened, or it's going to give me the most probable answer from the machine of things I could try. So it can help you adapt and pivot to new situations and act as, I don't want to say expert, but a third voice in a conversation, where it can give you maybe some options that you've not seen before.
Now, I've got 2 remaining questions for you, because obviously we're drawing on and we've got things to do. Now, you were out for dinner last night as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
There's rumours circulating. You know what I'm going to ask. There's rumours circulating about the type of questions that I've been asking. Somewhat Paddy McGrath from Everway was saying to people, I ask terrible, horrible questions.
He said you asked very interesting questions. That's what he said at the dinner.
Okay, there we go. Better than that.
He said they were tough questions.
They were tough. You've had some tough ones. Did he allude to what one of them may be?
One was about a song.
Yes, it was.
The song for education.
Yes, it was. And one of the 2 questions I have left for you.
Let's go for it. I'm ready. I actually said my answer immediately, and maybe it's because my 6-year-old has been singing the song incessantly. But it's either something from the Encanto soundtrack or this other song.
It literally, if education had a theme tune, what would yours be?
Mine's Hot to Go. Hot to go. We're hot to go. Especially after this conference today. We're hot to go.
Chapel Road.
Yeah.
I think I know. My kids play that in the car at the same time. HOTT.
Yeah, there we go.
That's an easy one. Super easy one. The last question then. I'm going to laugh at this one. We'll laugh at that one. If you could have an AI co-teacher with any historical figure's personality, who would you choose?
I'm going to Charlie Chaplin.
Just the miming?
Not that, just because I think I've watched the Robert Downey Jr. documentary, and I think that, and especially the speech we did in the World War II kind of Hitler parody, and I think that he's whimsical, but also at the heart of it was also very serious and can switch that on. And I think that's a perfect companion, someone that's got a lot of moral depth, but can also keep you entertained. And I think that's a good balance.
That is a great answer, and a great answer to finish on for what is the last interview today. Really appreciate it. I know there are going to be hundreds of educators out there that have attended today that are going to be super appreciative. I know there are thousands of educators out there following you on LinkedIn and social media who are greatly appreciative of the work that you are doing. It was a fantastic 2024. How many ISC Research Edruptors could you get in one building?
Oh, no, I think we've got 4. No, actually, we got some from last year as well. Yeah. Someone from a school in Moldova was on last year's list, so I think we're actually clocking a few up.
There we go. It has just been a tremendous event. So just from obviously me speaking for a lot of educators out there, thank you for the amazing things that you are doing. Keep doing them for an exciting 2025. Wish you all the best.
And thank you to everyone for supporting me. It's really appreciated.
Amazing.